What's up guys, it is Slick here. I'm back again with another video, and this one a huge video for you today talking about the unofficial confirmation that 2 DC games are in development at WB Games Montreal via a LinkedIn profile from a former WB Games Montreal employee. If you remember, almost a year ago now, it was announced that a Suicide Squad game was in development at WB Games Montreal. That game was canceled, according to Jason Schreier of Kotaku. We now have confirmation that that canceled Suicide Squad game has been replaced with another unannounced DC title. And although this is not announced via a press release, we have clear-cut evidence from a LinkedIn profile from a former WB Games Montreal employee who has worked on both of these games, and his LinkedIn profile cites this as such, and I will get into that later in the video. But first, let me go ahead and set a like goal and be a stereotypical YouTuber for a second at 500 likes. Let's see if we can get there. Videos talking about DC games in general are some of the most well-received videos that I have, some of the most viewed. My videos on these topics collectively over the past year have gotten, several millions of views. So I really know that you guys are looking forward to this content and hopefully enjoy it. And, liking the video really shows that you want to see more of it, which I'm definitely going to do and have plans to do in the next week. So just give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy and want to see more like it. As I said, this is going to really show us a lot, and I cannot wait to get into the details of this LinkedIn profile and post and just everything about the situation, and what it entails is really massive for the DC video game universe moving forward. And it shows that not only is Rocksteady hopefully making a DC game, and this Batman game that I've been talking about for literally years and we've known exists, but also this other third DC game, in addition to other ones that we may not know about yet, and Batman the Telltale series and other games are all in development, and it really is exciting, especially in regards to WB Games Montreal, and it tells us that we may be getting an announcement of one of these games at the Video Game Awards in December, and I will tell you why that is the case based off of the timelines that this individual writes on the LinkedIn profile. So without further ado and exposition, let's get right into the video. A little bit to find that. So I printed this off a while ago, and this is actually tweeted at me by James Sigfield on Twitter. So thank you very much for tweeting me this. It was a while ago, but anyway, thank you very much. And I finally wanted to cover this because this is really confirmation that we are getting 2 DC AAA games in development right now. Now, we already know about Batman. I've talked about that extensively on my channel. As far as I'm aware, that's still going ahead at full steam. We do also have this confirmation coming from an employee, a former employee of WB Games Montreal named Maxine Termel. Here I have Maxine's basically LinkedIn profile, which talks about the previous works that he's done. He no longer works for them, but he put this in here. So I'd like to read this post here, and then I will actually get into the details of what this implies and why this is important. Because if you remember, probably a year or so ago now, it was leaked by Jason Schreier of Kotaku, who also has reported extensively on the Batman game, but that's an aside, who has been talking about the Suicide Squad game, said that the Suicide Squad AAA game at WB Games Montreal was canceled. Then there was maybe some rumors that it was going to be some other bullshit like, Ready Player One or something like that. So there's been all sorts of rumors that hasn't been confirmed by anybody in the industry or anybody with any credibility. But this confirms that the Suicide Squad game has been replaced with another DC game, which is great news. So that means we're getting 2 DC games from WB Games Montreal, which leads me to believe that we might be getting one of them announced at the Video Game Awards, as they're announcing, as they always do. There's going to be tons of announcements and stuff, and there usually is, to be fair. So here I am on Maxime's actual LinkedIn page, and what we can see is that he is a simulation programmer on one game from March 2017 to June 2017, so perhaps that is the game that replaced the Suicide Squad game, an unannounced DC project, and we can see that he is implementing and maintaining a systematic mission system in C++ for a open world co-op player game powered by Unreal Engine 4. So this is an open world co-op player game, which certainly does not sound like the Batman game. And then we get down to this game that he worked on since May of 2015, even before the Batgirl DLC came out, which is around the time roughly the Batman game might have been announced. And we can see here that in this particular game, he was working on also an unannounced DC project, managing the spawning and behavior of background AI characters, implementing and maintaining a systemic mission system, blah, 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 powered by Unreal Engine 3, an open-world single-player game. Aha! So this is the Batman game, right? The single-player, powered by Unreal Engine 3, the system unable to blah, 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 whatever. Okay, so basically the difference here to look at is that we have an open-world co-op game at the top that began production at least in March 2017, or at least that's when he started it, and more likely this is the Batman game, the open world single player game. So we have our Batman game, and then we have our open world co-op player game that may Maybe a Suicide Squad relaunch. I don't think so, because they already scrapped Suicide Squad and clearly they couldn't make that work. So then we get into questions of, what is this game? What is this open world DC Comics co-op game? It could be any number of things, right? I mean, it could be like a Teen Titans game. It could be a Justice Society of America game, JSA game. It could be a Justice League game. I mean, who knows? It could be really anything. I think the only thing that is clear to me is that the game that was started in mid-2015, which is what I had already heard the game was starting in, is the Batman game. So we have this Batman game that he has been working on for a while, obviously, and then we also have this co-op game. And interestingly, all of the the details about this DC game he removed. So I printed this off a while ago because I feared that he was going to change it, and indeed he did. So we had all this information of what he was working on. So this is the Batman game we can see here from June 2015, roughly. He has May here, but he changed it, I guess. Whatever, same difference, okay? So he has all these things about the phases, acting as an expert for testers and developers. So embedded in mission and narrative development teams. That sounds like a Batman Arkham game. Small focused test team acting as a liaison, blah, blah, blah. This is a lot of just gamer talk, not really anything that we can take out of it. Working alongside vehicles, combat level design, and mission design. So again, all of those things are present in Arkham games, especially the vehicles, where we heard this game is going to have the Bat Bike. And we have, what else here? Testing narrative. So this is clearly the single-player Batman game, which is going to have a story, of course. It doesn't sound like, to me, like a co-op multiplayer game, as we saw in the other one, which I may have here. This is actually just later phases. So this is phase 2 and 3. Build management, production, scoping, and planning, long-term QA testing. So here, what we're talking about here is in phase 3. This game is in phase 3, where they're talking about planning for long-term testing, meaning for debug features, which means that the game, this is the Batman game that we're talking about here, folks. This is the Batman game that was started in 2015. So knowing that this is the Batman game and they're in phase 3, I don't really know what that means, but looking at it, we're looking at refinement, planning for long-term testing and debug features, build management, promotion, promoting the game. These are the things that they're working on here clearly towards the end of this time period, towards May 2017. We are now in November 2017, ladies and gentlemen, which leads me to believe that we may see this game at the Video Game Awards here in December of 2017. What really confirms to us is that there are 2 DC games in development at WB Games Montreal, and more importantly, one of these games is most likely the Batman game that I've been talking about for years now, literally years at this point. And most importantly than anything else, what this shows us is that this game has been close towards the end of its production since May of 2017, with debugging and refinement of the game in phase 3. Again, I don't know what phase 3 means. I don't know if that's like a good thing or a bad thing or whatever, but the point is that clearly in May of 2017, the game was, at least, if not wrapping up, nearing the end of production. And thereby, we can maybe expect to hear something from it soon. Of course, this is all wishful thinking and unconfirmed, but this LinkedIn profile really tells us a lot. And more importantly than anything else to me, because I already knew the Batman game was in development, and you guys have already known that if you've been watching the channel, what this shows is that the Suicide Squad game that was canceled, that we feared was replaced with some bullshit WB game that they wanted to make or whatever, a Ready Player One or some movie tie-in game, is replaced with an unannounced DC title. You can see it clearly right here. Unannounced, oh, you really can't see it because my face is there. I showed it to you earlier. March 2017 to June 2017, unannounced DC Comics project. You go down, May 2015 to March 2017, WB Games Montreal, unannounced DC Comics project. That is 2 separate games that this individual was working on actually at the same time, the same exact time, and switching in between or something. I don't know the exact details, but once again, the big thing to take out of this, 2 DC games from WB Games Montreal. Hopefully another one from Rocksteady, and who knows what else they have cooking behind the scenes. I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. My name is Slickmoff, and I'll see you guys in the next one.